I'm going through and showcasing all of my settings for BO6 Warzone and everything you should be running in Season 3. Hopping straight into it, I do want to say, if you guys clicked on this video expecting some keyboard and mouse settings, I unfortunately cannot help you guys out with that at all because I play zero M&K. But starting off with the first tab and probably the most important tab, let me get you guys my controller settings. At the top, of course, I do play controller with a default button layout and a default stick layout, because if you guys don't know, I do play on a PS5 controller with the scuff reflex, and I have 4 back paddles that lets me jump shot, drop shot, loot, reload, do absolutely everything. I also play on a 1.6 for my sensitivity. If you guys don't know, not too long ago, they completely changed the sensitivity scale. I used to play on a 7.7 sensitivity, which I'll probably pop up on the screen, the conversion chart, so you guys can find out what your old sensitivity is on the new scale. The 7.7 is now 1.6. Like I always tell you guys in my streams, my videos, everywhere you guys ask me, make sure you guys find something that you feel really comfortable with here, and then fine tune it with your ADS sensitivity, which I'll show you guys in a second. Now scrolling down, we have off. I also have my controller vibration turned off, which I know a lot of people still have this turned on and they feel like it probably doesn't affect their gameplay, but I promise I felt way better once I turned this off, and I feel like my aim even got better. I don't know if that's all just in my head or something, but if you are someone that still has this turned on, just test it for one day having it turned off. I know it might feel weird, but I promise you might feel way better. Then scrolling down, I do also have my trigger effect turned off, which I'm pretty sure this is only a PS5 controller setting. I just don't like having the haptic feedback turned on, and I feel like it's not really good for Warzone. Then a super important setting if you guys are on controller is your dead zones. I have 2 for my left stick minimum and 5 for my right stick minimum. And then if you guys remember from my old settings video, I used to have 70 for my left stick max. It was super good for movement and having your controller be super responsive, but I just feel way more consistent on the game and with my aiming with it at 99. And then I also have 99 on my right stick max, and for my left and right trigger, make sure you guys have these both set to 0. But that's the first controller tab, so let's hop directly into the aiming tab. Starting at the top, we have the sensitivity multiplier, which this isn't what I was just talking about. I actually don't mess with this tab whatsoever because we're actually going to mess with our ADS sense later in the settings. We have look conversion on foot standard. We have aiming advanced settings, which I'm pretty sure this is where we do it, but we have look conversion all standard again. We have our ADS sensitivity transition timing set to instant. I know some people actually like gradual here, but I'm pretty sure instant is by far the best setting for this. We have third person ADS correction type assist, and then for the best aim response curve type, you want to set this to dynamic. Then drop this down and do aim response curve slope scale set to 1.0. Now this is the setting I was talking about earlier. Find a sensitivity that you feel really comfortable with, and then come to this setting and fine tune it with your ADS sensitivity. So basing it off my 7.7 or my 1.6 sense, I have this set on 0.80 at low zoom, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, and then everything above that I have 1.0. Then scrolling down, we have my target and my ADS aim assist both turned on, of course, and then motion sensor. I don't think I've ever messed with these settings ever in my life. So hopping directly into the movement tab, I do have my sprint assist set to tactical sprint assist, which is super nice. If you guys remember back in Warzone 1, we used to have auto tac sprint. This is basically the exact same setting, and I have this set to 0 delay with my sideways and backwards both set to on. I have my mantle assist turned off, my crouch assist turned off, and then I do have my corner slice turned on. If you guys don't know what this setting is, it basically is when you walk up to a corner, your operator kind of does a little bit of a lean, sort of like Rainbow Six Siege, and I feel like this doesn't really affect me or hurt me, so I've just always left it turned on. Then I have my slide/dive behavior set to hybrid. If you guys don't know, this is the only setting that lets you tap to slide and tap to dive. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it's by far the best setting you can run. Then I have automatic airborne mantle set to partial. I have sprint restore turned on, slide maintain sprint turned on, parachute, that's whatever you want it to be on, mantle cancels reload off. You could also turn this on if you're getting stuck like jumping through windows. And then for movement advanced settings, I have toggle off, on, double tap, trigger, and on. Obviously, I'm not too sure much of this even matters since we do have my tac sprint assist turned on, but if you want to, you can drop this down to single tap. And also going back up real quick, hybrid also gets rid of the delay that tap to slide has with your slides. And then scrolling down to vehicle behaviors, I'm pretty sure I've never messed with this either, but we have aim based, short delay, free look, and then melee, finishing move, and body shield. Again, I don't think I've ever messed with this tab a day in my life. But that is my controller tab, aiming tab, and movement tab. So let's hop directly into the combat tab. At the top, we have hold, we have on toggle, ADS plus down button, and then let me just scroll through real quick. We have ADS plus melee, hold melee, prioritize finishing move, which again, none of these settings really matter. Have whatever you guys want on. Armor plate behavior, I am one of the only people I know that uses apply 1. It's really personal preference. I know a lot of people like apply all. You guys can run whatever you really want here, but for me, I just feel way better with apply 1 because I feel like I have more control mid gunfight. And then scrolling down, we have 1x1, hold, and press. And then for the combat advanced settings, we have hold, sprint, tac sprint, focus, short delay, and then a super important Warzone setting, setting, we have interact/reload behavior, and you want to set this to prioritize interact. This is going to make it to where you can tap to reload, tap to loot, and do whatever you want. But when you're over loot or you're in a car, you're going to have to hold to reload. And then scrolling down, we have sprint and cancels reload turned off. We have independent off and on. And then down here, we have toggle, and then overlay advanced settings. Again, another tab I don't think I've ever messed with. We have directional, moderate, hold, and default. But I'm just going through and showcasing absolutely everything that I'm running. But I'm pretty sure that's all my settings for my controller tab. So make sure you guys go through and test out everything I just showed you. Use it as like a base and then fine tune it to where you feel super comfortable. Let's hop directly into the graphics tab. Starting off the graphics tab, I do play on full screen exclusive, which I'm pretty sure is the best for the performance of your game. And then scrolling down, I do play on an Alienware 2721D monitor, which if you guys look it up is a 1440p 240 hertz monitor. I'm pretty sure it's absolutely gas. And then I play on a 4090 for my gaming PC, which I am on a dual PC setup. Like I said, my monitor is a 240 hertz monitor, 1440p, automatic aspect ratio, 2.2 sRGB for our display gamma, which if you guys don't know, the 2.2 sRGB is for gaming monitors and the 2.4 BT1886 is for big TVs, which I say this in pretty much every single settings video, so I have to say it again. If you guys are playing on a really big TV, you are putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. So if you play this game even slightly more than casual or even casually, try to get yourself on a monitor of any kind. It doesn't even have to be a crazy gaming monitor. Just get yourself on a small monitor so it has way less delay. And scrolling down for my brightness, I do have it at 49. This is all preference though. I feel like my game just looks the best with 49, but you could have this set to 50 or 51. And then we have the NVIDIA Reflex low latency on plus boost. And scrolling down, we have custom, off, unlimited. And then we have optimal, off, 10 minutes, 0. And then for the HDR, I do have this turned off. But now let's hop into the quality tab. I do want to say I have a lot of my settings set to low or off just for the pure performance of my game. At the top, of course, we do have it on a 100 render resolution. There's really no reason to have this set past 100. I know back on Verdansk, which funny enough, we are getting back on Verdansk, a lot of people used to have this set to like 110 or even 120 just for some extra quality on their game. But that is completely pointless and useless. So set this just to 100. And scrolling down, we have the dynamic resolution turned off. We have the upscaling/sharpening on Fidelity FX CAS, which is the best setting, also set to a 100 strength. Then we have the AMD FSR 3-frame generation, which I have no idea what that even is. We have that turned off. Then we have the VRAM scale target to 70 and the variable rate shading turned on. Then for these next settings, like I said, I have a lot of them turned to normal, low, or off just for the performance of the game. So I'm just going to scroll through real quick and just say it. So pause the video if you need to, slow it down, do whatever you need. But for the details and textures, we have normal, low, off, normal, on, off, low, and minimal. Then we have normal. And then for the shadow and lighting, we have low, off, low, off, low. And then for the environment, we have tessellation turned off, low, off, low, off. Like I said, I have a lot of settings down to the lowest settings just for the pure performance of Warzone since the game is so poorly optimized. Then for the view tab, super important, I have motion reduction preset. I don't even know what that is. I have it turned off. And then we have the FOV set to 120. This is 100% personal preference. Run whatever FOV you feel the absolute best on. But for me, ever since I switched to PC, I immediately started playing on 120 and it just feels the absolute best for me. Then super important, this is a setting that a lot of people in my comments for some reason don't use. But for the ADS FOV, this actually affects your visual recoil. And when you have it on independent, the guns just bounce way more. I'm actually going to show you guys in the firing range. When you have independent turned on, you ADS, it super zooms into the optic and it just bounces way more. But when you have it set to affected, it doesn't really zoom into the iron sights like that, and you can really control the gun. So make sure you guys have that set to affected 100%, super important setting. And then for weapon field of view, I have wide to make the gun smaller. And we have third person FOV to 90, vehicle set to wide. And then we have our world and weapon motion blur both turned off. There's really no reason to have this turned on unless you're trying to make like that TikTok style video, but definitely turn those off. And then for first and third person camera movement, have those both set to least for 50%. And for third person, we have third person ADS, and then inverted flashbang, another setting that is 100% personal preference. All this is going to do is when you get hit with the flashbang, instead of flashing bright white, it's going to flash your screen to a dark black. That's pretty much all my settings in the graphics tab. So same thing as the controller settings. Make sure you guys go through and test out everything I just showed you. Use it as a base and then find whatever you feel the most comfortable with. Let's hop directly into the audio settings. For the audio settings at the top, these are all your different volumes. This is 100% preference for your setup, but I have 65, 0, 50, 90, and 30. And then scrolling down, a lot of these settings are going to just be for your setup, but I have default system device, Windows default, off. And then for the audio mix, very important, I get asked about this a lot, I actually run Sucker Punch. I don't know know when I switched to this, but I'm pretty sure I used to run headphones or home theater or whatever I used to run. But Sucker Punch, I get the best audio I've ever had in my life. I hear so many different footsteps, so many different audio cues, and in my opinion, it's the best setting you could be running. And scrolling down, we have mono audio turned off as well. If you guys don't know, this setting is going to take all your different directional audios and put it all into one channel. So you're not going to be able to tell if someone's above you, below you, to your right, to your left. So make sure you guys have this turned off. Then we have off, off, off. And then for the configure frequency intensity, I have no idea what this even is. I've never messed with it a day in my life. And then we have the reduce tinnitus sound. We have that turned off. And then for the hit marker preset, we do also have this on default. But I'm pretty sure with season 3 and Verdansk, they're bringing back the classic hit marker sound. So I don't even know if this setting is still going to be a thing. And then for the voice chat, like I was saying a second ago, this is 100% for you and your setup. But I'm going to go through and showcase it so I can showcase absolutely everything that I'm running. So we have 20 on, on. We have all lobby, default system device, 50 off, push to talk, and then line in, which again is all your setup. But like I said, I want to go through and showcase everything that I'm running. That's all my audio settings. Obviously, the most important being Sucker Punch. Make sure you guys test that out. Let's hop directly into the interface tab. At the top, we have automatic off, on, off, off. For the telemetry, these are the little boxes in the top left of my screen. It shows me my FPS, my server latency, all that stuff. Really important in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure some of these are actually on console now, so definitely make sure you guys turn those on. And then scrolling down, we have default on. For the readability, we have off, custom, default 0, default, and then for the color customization, I actually don't mess with this whatsoever. I know a lot of people really do, but the one setting I do mess with is my color filter settings. I have filter 2 with both for color filter target on world and interface, both set to 100. I get a lot of comments asking if I use NVIDIA filters, which I actually don't. This is the only color filter I actually use, and it makes my game look super vibrant. Then for the gameplay HUD, I have my HUD bound zoomed all the way in so my minimap isn't as far in the corner, so my eyes don't have to move as much. It's a super sweaty thing that I'm actually doing that, but it actually helps out a lot. And then for the minimap shape, of course, run square. I'm pretty sure the only people still running around might actually be like level 1 hackers. We have minimap rotation turned on, and then we have radar turned off, which is actually a very important setting. If you guys look at this minimap, it kind of shows you how the map looks, but if you turn on radar, it's going to take that away. We have compass type turned on horizontal. We have the stamina bar turned on display near health, which I actually just had this turned off, and I didn't realize I had it turned off. For the vehicle HUD prompts, I have fade after 10 seconds. Like I said, none of this stuff really matters, but I just want to go through and showcase everything that I'm running. And then I have on, full name, and then for the crosshair, important setting, I actually have it turned on, and I have it turned on larger. And then make sure you guys have this set to whatever color you like. Make sure to have it on a super vibrant setting so it always catches your eye. The crosshair setting is so important because it's really going to help your centering to make sure you're always on target. For the hit marker visuals, I have it turned on. With the damage base, I have it turned on. And then for everything right here, I have on 100, 100, 100 all across the board. That's all my audio settings and interface settings. So now let me get you guys the hidden setting that we have to go to Black Ops 6 for. So if you guys actually back out of Warzone and slide to BO6, we can actually mess with our mini map, because if you guys have been seeing all the streamers and content creators, they actually have either a really big mini map or kind of a zoomed out mini map, and unfortunately you can only change that in BO6 multiplayer. So once you're in BO6, you're going to go to your settings and go down to interface, and then you're going to go to gameplay HUD, multiplayer HUD presets, and then the one that a lot of people run for that really big mini map is magnified. It's going to make the mini map huge. In my opinion, I still like standard the most, and then all I do is zoom out my scale a little bit. So for the visuals, I have square, mini map, on, off, and then right here for the scale, I have mine on 100, but on default, I'm pretty sure it's on 120. So setting it back to 100 zoomed out my minimap a little bit, giving me more information. So you guys could zoom it in or zoom it out as much as you want. And then we have information on all 100, 100, and then across the board, we have it on 100 as well. For the colors, again, 100% up to you. That is absolutely all of my settings that I'm running right now in BO6 Warzone, heading into the brand new season 3 update. Like I said across every single time, make sure you guys go through and test out everything that I showed you. And let me know down in the comments below if this video helped you guys out at all. And if it did, make sure you guys hit that sub button. That's it for the video.